said, a picture is worth 1,000 words. All right, welcome back, YouTube. Welcome back. We got a very, very full schedule today. Number one, well, actually, there's four main points for today. Number one, Ecuador is being overrun by the cartels. Is it real? Does it have any effects on us? Are people coming in through the border? We'll talk about that. Next, FTMO has stopped accepting US clients for new challenges. If you have an existing challenge or an existing account that's already active, that doesn't affect you for now. But I do have a few stories from traders that reached out to me, and they told me a few things that might shock you if you have an existing FTMO account. And so stick around for that. The SEC Twitter account got hacked one day or the same day as the Bitcoin ETF approval was supposed to hit. Now, as you guys know, the whole world was waiting for an ETF from Bitcoin, just to be able to include institutions in this game, and then to bring on all the retail clients who were scared to get on Coinbase, but they use traditional assets like ETFs in their portfolio. And this is going to open the door for a lot more money to come in. The day of the decision, the SEC's Twitter account gets hacked. They put out a tweet approving the ETF. Markets start to pump, and then immediately after, we can see the reaction right here. Whoa. So the market started to pump on the approval of the ETF, and then very quickly started to retrace back down. Now, if I'll be honest, we were expecting this kind of price movement regardless of whether their account got hacked or not. But I think it's very important to know how this is going to affect Bitcoin's price. And for a lot of you who do not have any investment assets, maybe you have some traditionals, stocks and bonds, but if you don't have any investment assets, real estate is out of reach for you. You got a few more options here before before you got to throw your hands up. Crypto, for me, is one of those investment vehicles that's going to replace real estate, because real estate is kind of out of reach. Maybe not commercial real estate, that's still in play here. But residential real estate has kind of been taken away from consumers as an investment vehicle. And so we're going to have to look at the assets of the future to really be able to get the same amount of returns or better returns. Okay. Everybody on YouTube, great to see you guys. Yes, of course I'm back. What do you guys fucking think? I'm a man of my word. I promised every single one of you guys that I will be streaming for 100 days in January. It's January 10th. So we're going to be going for 100 days starting today. Just learn, take notes. Great to have all of you guys back. But 2024, the word is action. And then I was just talking to the folks. We did a morning mindset call right before the live trading stream. And I was telling everybody, be deliberate in every single thing that you do. If you find yourself on autopilot during the day, scrolling, or on autopilot during the day, just doing something, get yourself back in control and be deliberate with your actions, because that's the quickest way to move in one direction. The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, in case you guys took first grade geometry. And so if you want to get to your goal, the less distractions you have and the more you can move in a straight line towards that goal, that's how you achieve things a lot faster. Some people are like, oh, it's been 4 or 5 years and I'm still aiming for the same goal, because you're not being deliberate enough. Same with your trading. When you take a trade, don't just enter for the sake of being in the markets. Take a trade deliberately so that you can study it. You can take a lesson away from every trade, whether it's a win or a loss. And that's how you make constant improvements every day. I just have to turn on these captions. And let me see who took the Nasdaq trade. I'm waiting for one more retest here. See if we can get an entry. For my NAS100 masterclass, folks, you guys can see that TP1 and TP2 have gotten hit, but I am waiting for one more pullback of the zone, maybe even a little bit lower. Like yesterday, I sent out this markup for the re-entry. This one right here. This is like a 1 hour trade. We had a breakout of the previous highs. I was waiting for a pullback inside the range. We never really hit 622 or yeah, this is 622. We never hit that zone, but we came pretty damn close. This was the entry from yesterday. We never hit 1621, which is that black line at the bottom, but the market did come back inside the range for a quick pullback, cleared all the liquidity in this area, and then closed look at the body, closed way back above the range. So buyers were still in control. There was enough buying volume to really keep pumping markets, and that's what we saw. Then the market reset. Whoever's got their mic unmuted, please get it muted up. Jesus. All right. And I'm gonna have to turn off your mic. Y'all doing some, y'all halfway naked in bed and shit. My boy's out here still asleep. I'm gonna do you a favor, my guy. Trust me, if you out here trading with in a dark room, just kiss that goodbye. Go get sharp. Go get some coffee. Go see the sun, and get yourself as awake and as aware as possible so you can make good decisions on the charts. Bad things happen when you're on autopilot or when you're half asleep. Okay. David Sanchez, Viva Mexico. Great to see you guys back here again. Like the stream. We all good. Happy 2024. Nick, good to see you. AMGG, Mortal, good to see all you guys. Liam, Dylan, Malik, yes. Great to see all of you. Okay, TP2 is hit. One more pullback double bottom. We should be good to go. We should be good to go. All right, we're going to talk about news here in a sec, but I want to just follow through with some currency, my currency outlook real quick. Let me do NAS100 first. So NAS100, on the Sunday market outlook, I covered this with the team, and I just want to show you guys the before and after here. I mean, you guys have probably seen me post this on socials at this point. But the market had just hit a previous low. We were looking for the double bottom. It was an 88.6 entry. I ended up taking this trade a little bit late, but I did enter here. I had my first target at 16,540, the second target at 16,620. So as you guys can see, the market was very aggressive. Here's basically what happened is the market was pulling back, broke a lot of buy levels, and started to invite a lot of selling interest into the market. Now, markets typically do this when they want to buy from a certain price. Let's say that the market has a ton of buy orders. And when I say the market, you can just think about a conglomerate of the largest players that impact price, whether it be the JP Morgans of the world, the Goldman Sachs of the world, or the market making institutions, the New York Stock Exchange algorithm, and others. So these are the major players. When I say the market, this is who I'm referring to, is the ones who move the market. So imagine a bunch of buy limit orders were waiting at 16,240. And then price is sitting all the way up here. They're going to have to do whatever it takes to drive price to that level. But they don't want to keep selling shares because their job is to buy. And so institutions will sell just enough to kind of create some downward pressure. Then traders start to jump in, leveraged hedge funds and leveraged funds that are going to become net sellers as soon as the market drops by a certain amount. And then after that, retail comes in and really just pushes the rest of the way. Once price hits that pinpoint of where the buy limits are sitting, that's where you see the massive reaction. The buyers need enough selling pressure and selling interest on the other side of their trade to execute their orders. And so without that selling interest, they're just going to be sitting there with a buy limit that can't get executed. And so drive a bunch of sellers, whipsaw the market all the way up. That's basically what happened. 15.5 or 16,540 was the first target, 16,620 was the second target. We broke through the first one, headed up to the second one, and then we hit the second one. And this is all 4 hours. This all happened in 4 hours. All right. And then last but not least, the market came back to retest those same exact price points that I had marked off, the 16,540. So I was kind of looking for a push off of that zone. And yes, I am still sitting in that trade. This trade ended up playing out perfectly. As you guys can see here from the 16,540, we had a beautiful push to the upside. So now there's two things that I'm seeing, just big picture, so we're all on the same page. First, well, actually, right now, there was a floor that was formed from the previous two sessions. We bought early this morning, and so the Chart Addicts members, most of us are in these longs already, and I am waiting for a minor pullback here in this range to enter again. My second option would be a pullback again to the 16,540. So like around an 70 to 80% pullback of that previous impulse, and then a potential continuation up to 17,000. Previous highs marked off at 17,000. We are looking to get new highs forming because this is a very bullish year for Nasdaq. But just because it's going to be a bullish year, fundamentals and technicals lining up, does not mean the markets are going to move in a straight line. So just because we expect the market to hit 18,000 this year, and my long-term target for Nasdaq, if you guys want to write this down, my 3-year target for Nasdaq is 20,000. We're headed only in one way. Nasdaq is a bet on American ingenuity and American technology. That's not going anywhere anytime soon. So 16,540 and then 16,627. These are the two areas. As long as we don't break below this low, the market can retrace all the way back down and still be bullish. If we close below this low, we're headed all the way back down to the 16,200s. So for now, we're bullish. We're already in the buy position from early this morning, and I'm going to be looking for a potential re-entry here, depending on if the market wants to be generous or not. Any questions, or are we good to go? It's currently up 30 pips on UJ. Let's go through the DXY real quick, just so I can give you guys my currency predictions. A lot of people are indecisive about what's going to happen with the dollar. This is the same exact play that we've been looking at since last year. If you guys have been on the live stream since last year, you've seen this. All right, here's the zones I'm watching. If you guys want to kind of take a screenshot of this, or you can just come back and watch the stream later. 103.7 is my next area of interest. Hold on. Got it. Good to go. All good. NAS strategy worked out perfectly on SPX. All good. Okay, yeah. All right, previous daily low. Market had a liquidity grab through the zone here. We had this little, what in Wyckoff we call a spring and a test. Okay, that's spring and test. And then we had another retest here of the 108.55. Levels too accurate. Also, for my NAS100 folks, from top or from bottom to top, what fib level do you guys think this is? Don't even answer it out loud. You know exactly what fib level it is in your head. Y'all know exactly what it is. And so 103.7 is that target, and then 105.7, and then 17. So I think that we're going to be making a full move back up. Why? If the world is falling apart, we talk about this all the time. Are you going to park your money in an African bank? Probably not. You're going to park your money in Europe. They're at the brink of war. They're having an energy crisis. Inflation's through the roof, and the economy's in a recession. Yeah, no. Am I going to put it in Switzerland, where Credit Suisse had to buy what is it called? Why am I blanking on the name? Guys, what's the other bank in Switzerland, the big one? There's Credit Suisse, and then there's, yeah, why am I blanking? Somebody help me out here. I'll do Credit Suisse buys. Oh, UBS. Okay. Oh, that was a hard one. United Bank of Switzerland. So one of the largest banks in Switzerland went under. Their next biggest competitor had to buy them and create like the mega conglomerate of Switzerland. Those banking issues are becoming very clear. And so I think a lot of people are slowly moving their money away from Europe. So now where else would you put your money? Let's go to Asia, right? Typically Singapore, Hong Kong, these are huge international hubs for investment, and so is China. Now, because of China's kind of standing on the global stage, not a lot of people want to go work with China right now. Singapore, also not the safest because of the hostility in that region, and Hong Kong got taken back over in the matter of a week, and all international money left. So Asia's out of the question, Africa's out the question, Europe, decent, but still out the question. The only place in South America, all right, so we just talked about the news right before this stream started. We're going to cover the Ecuador news, the FTMO news, and the SEC Twitter hack news. But when you have cartels taking over your country, you have massive hyperinflation in places like Venezuela, Brazil. Argentina just saved themselves by bringing Milei in, but we still have to see the effects of that. So South America's out of the question. You're going to put your money in Canada? No, you're going to fucking entertain that one. So the only other place to put your money would be in the States. Okay. And I think that that's where a lot of the inflows are coming from. Yes, there's supply and demand dynamics where if the Fed is pumping a lot of money, then there's going to be more supply of dollars. But just know that no matter how much America prints, everybody else in the world is still going to need dollars. And so that's going to, and if you guys want to understand the concept more, go to our YouTube channel, look up my interview with Brent Johnson. Brent Johnson, Chart Addicts. And I have another podcast with him coming up soon. I'm trying to get him out to the FX Summit to come and speak. But go look at the market outlook. I know it says 2023, but we were just talking about the dollar milkshake theory, which he created. And basically, it says that no matter how much money America prints, everybody else still wants our currency. And yeah, that's how we're doing it. All right, let me get back to Nasdaq to make sure we don't miss this trade. If you guys have any questions about other currencies, let me know. Once we have a solid trade here and everything is lining up perfectly, then we'll cover some of this Forex. Not even Forex, just some of this market news. All right, make sure that we're being accurate here. Here's the low. Fib, top, bottom. Way too many fib levels here. Let me take off the -27 as well. You guys can see I'm doing a standing desk kind of situation. So I got way too much energy, I got way too much life. I can't be sitting still. So I'm looking forward to this. Welcome back, Roy. Welcome back. Roy was missed. Pause. Liang ain't got a fucking pause for that. I missed you guys too. How about that? I missed you guys too. But we've been crushing it here with the Chart Addicts members. We did a full, shout out to the VIP members, man. Shout out to you guys. We did, I think, a 2-hour call going through my 2024 market outlook. And I highly recommend everybody on YouTube go check this out. It's free on our website. We post analysis for free. But this one took me a long ass time. All right, because I really had to pull together about as much accurate information as I could, try to get a full view of the landscape. And I've identified the top themes to watch for when it comes to fundamentals. If you guys just want a playbook for 2024, this is going to be it. If you guys took the NAS100 masterclass, first off, congratulations. You got a great year ahead of you. If I'm going to be honest, markets have been respecting the strategy insanely. Highly recommend you guys check that out. This could be our re-entry opportunity, folks. This could be our re-entry opportunity. Now, I do see these double rejections. Trust me, I see them. I see the double rejections. Oh my God, head and shoulders. Notice one thing. When you form a floor and the market creates a higher floor. Now, I'm not pointing out the wick. I'm pointing the body right here. So let's go body here to body here. The bodies are still getting higher. Yes, the market had a beautiful expansion to the upside and a retracement. If this is bearish, the market has to break below these lows and establish a new range. It's got to establish a new low. Once it establishes a new low and it closes down here, then it'll probably pull back up a little bit and then keep crashing. So as long as the market stays above this local floor that was formed over Australia and London session, the buy is still active. It's still valid. If the market closes below, not breaks below, because you can see that a situation like this can happen where the markets wick below the zone, but they don't close below. Okay. Just so I can understand, because we're going to be covering the FTMO news here in just a moment. In case you guys don't know, FTMO is no longer accepting US clients. Let me know if you guys are currently in the middle of a challenge or currently have a live account. Let me know in the comments section just to see how you guys might be affected. If you have not started a challenge yet, I am doing as much research as I can. I did speak to some owners of the top 5 firms just to kind of gauge a direction, and they told me not to post the some of the text that they sent or whatever. So I'm going to respect their privacy, but they're telling me that this is only for FTMO. So I don't know if FTMO got so big that they got a knock on the door, or if they're just trying to avoid any issues. Guys, double 88.6. Come on. Come on. I'm in. Oh, that candle is so ugly. Wait a second. Yeah, I'm in. Ooh, shit. Again, this is a reminder that nothing on this stream is to be construed as financial advice. This is just me showing you guys my decision making on the charts. And so please make sure to do your own analysis and and this is for educational purposes only. Make sure we throw that out there. All right. Now, like on a real note, make sure that you guys are prioritizing risk management too. Being inconsistent with your lot sizes is, to me, the easiest way to move backwards in trading, because you'll be having progress, having progress, having progress. Then all of a sudden you up your lot size a little bit too fast. That's the trade that loses, and then you take away all the gains that you've just been making. Stay consistent with your lot size this year. Don't look for every trade to have some big impact on your account, because it shouldn't. And instead play it in a series of trades. Trading is a series, not a moment. I put this up on Twitter the other day, and I think it was very accurate. So I highly recommend that you guys look at trading in terms of like just prolong your time horizon. Instead of looking at your daily results, look at the weekly, look at the monthly results, and then eventually you'll get to the point where you're looking at quarterly results. And even if you have a bad week, you're good. Even if you have a bad month, you're good. You're not going to panic because you know that you're looking at it on a 4-month time horizon. Okay. This is my trade retest of the lows, and then we have a smaller time frame, 15-minute break and retest here of the 88.6. Very straightforward stuff. Okay. Let me mark off my take profit zones so we know where we're at. So 16,700, that's like 20 points away. Well, actually, that's 10 points away. So 10 points is TP1. And then we have 715 up here, which is TP2, which would be about another 20 points from this current price. Okay. Again, this is for educational purposes only. Please make sure to do your own analysis. And please, guys, just remember that risk management is the key. You're a professional risk manager. If you're only looking at upside, chances are you're a gambler. Okay, so I did get an early entry this morning. Kind of got a pretty premature entry. So as soon as we break back above that level, that is where I'm going to close partial profits. I'm going to secure that trade. But here's the reason why I scale the way I do. That trade is running negative. Okay, well, now it's in break even. But it was running about $40, $50 negative or whatever. The bottom trade is larger in size, and now it's floating about 200 bucks right here. So it'll make up the difference. Now, because I'm a risk manager, I'm going to close out that early entry, and I'm going to hold this bottom entry, see if we break TP1, because we're pretty freaking close to TP1. Okay. I have a current challenge going on. I'm going to challenge with CTI. No, I'm only asking for people who have an FTMO challenge right now. I don't, not anything else. TP1 just got hit. Make sure that you guys are taking partial profits. Personally, I'm actually going to secure my trade by moving my stop loss into profit, only because this wick rejection right here is kind of weak indecision closure. It's making me think that sellers want to take back over here. So I'm actually going to protect this trade. We could have one more test straight through the zone. If we do, I'll re-enter in that case. But risk management is key. And in case you guys want to see the entry from yesterday, there was this entry at the very lows at 16,521. And you guys can see I've already taken most of my profits. I only have 1.5 lots still sitting here. But that 1.5 lots as a runner is floating about 233. This one, this is a 10 lots from yesterday. Still have I closed 5 lots of it, still holding it. This is floating about 300 bucks. Okay. And then this one floating another 150 or whatever it might be. So this is so my first entry was right here for the buys. My second entry was right here on the wick, and then my third entry is right here on the retest. So we'll see if this thing holds. If it does not hold, then there we go. 16,550. All right. I got a feeling we hold though. I got a feeling if anything, we're gonna wick through here and create another like a few wick rejections and then push up. In that case, as long as the body of the candles are closing above that daily floor, we're still rock solid and the trade is still valid. So we'll see how the market reacts here. But that 886, the TP1 strategy, y'all, I'm telling y'all right now. I'm telling y'all right now. Okay, 16,678 entry. Bentley, let's go. Let's go, bro. How'd you get a better entry than me, bro? Frenchie said, tell the YouTube boys to drop a like on the video. Shit, man. Frenchie, why don't you get on YouTube and tell them? Oh, you did. Yo, Frenchie's really in the comment section telling them. I speak Spanglish, said, listen to him about the lot size. I learned the hard way. I'm currently on phase 1 of FTMO, but I looked at the link you sent and I'm CT, so I'm good. I'm CT. The fuck does CT mean? And no, I did not fake your certificate, brother. That was a massive misunderstanding. Me and Bernd, we're cool now. We're boys. Everybody else who's still, oh, break even hit. I'm gonna re-enter this trade. Everybody else who's still talking shit is doing it for clout, if we're just gonna be completely honest. And what I would urge a lot of those folks, if they're listening, because they probably are big fans of ours, if you're listening, y'all got big problems on your plate. All right. Trying to get clout and trying to drive attention for clout when you got the CFTC knocking on your door. Are you people fucking stupid? Now, am I surprised that the guy that I said looked like a fake Molly salesman has it out for me and is out here just spreading rumors? No, I'm not fucking surprised, guy. I don't get on here and talk mad shit and be like, well, I'm impervious to any and all feedback. No, I get it. Now, I do want to say one thing is I appreciate everybody who did reach out personally and then at least try to get an understanding of what happened. I appreciate all of you guys and I appreciate the maturity for you guys trying to hold me accountable. I remember a lot of folks that reached out or that at least gave me the benefit of the doubt to explain. And trust me, I respect you guys highly for that. And most of the folks that did talk to me personally, they know exactly what happened, and now we're all cool. So that's what I would recommend that you guys do, especially with how much BS goes on in this industry. Just reach out, right? You guys know I'm very responsive. Reach out, get the full story. But yeah, I can't be on here talking this much shit and not expect any fucking backlash. I'm gonna be real. Just the way it is. Happy New Year, Victor. Good to see you. Why did FTMO discard business? All right. Well, actually, let me do UJ US 30 in just a quick second, and then we'll get back to it. I re-entered the trade, y'all. I re-entered the trade. Price wicked through the zone, which is perfect. Hit our break even. But now the market is still sitting back above support. And so as long as that's the case, the trade is still valid. We got the 15-minute candle closing in about 10 minutes. We have a 5-minute candle that just closed right under our zone. Oof, that's ugly. You don't want a body of the candle closing below. Let me actually make sure I draw this accurately. Oh, I didn't even draw it accurately. We're going to go here. And we still close below the 88.6. Typically not a good sign. But on the higher time frames, we're still respecting the Tokyo session lows and the Australia session lows. So I'm going to let this thing play out here for a second. Again, we break through. We have a buy entry at 15,550. Sorry, 16,550. And that'll be our backup in case this thing wants to fall through. USD JPY. I was waiting for a deeper retracement down here to 139.7 that never came. I redrew all my zones. So instead of drawing it from the low of this impulse, I drew it from the body of this expansion here. And then lo and behold, we got an 88.6 and then another 88.6. One daily touch, two, three, four daily touches here on that zone. Straight push up, break above TP1 and using it as a new floor. And so 147.1 is the next target. This is one of those swing trades. I tell you guys, I don't trade currencies unless I see a higher time frame swing opportunity. And so when I looked at the DXY and I saw that there was a massive upside potential, and I saw that the Japanese yen, guys, remember, currency correlations is key here. And I saw the Japanese yen was rejecting the highs and was getting ready to make its next leg down. I even have it written right here. If this thing drops, we have anything that has the JPY at the end of it going up. Somebody asked me to analyze Euro JPY a while back. Are you on this call? The guy who asked me to go through Euro JPY. If you did, the 88.6 still fucking worked. Double bottom. TP1 broken. TP2 on the way. The strategy is brilliant. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Every currency, any time frame. So if you're on this call, Euro JPY guy, hope you're happy. That's a come up. All right, let's take a look at US 30 and see where we're at. I mean, to be honest, where's Bryce? Bryce, where you at, man?
What's up, my guy?
Brother, what do you have? Can you send me your markup in the chat if you don't mind?
Yeah, for you 30? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll send it.
Let's see if we match up. This is a test for you, brother. You guys think he's gonna pass the test? Said CA members are like, fuck yeah. Okay, this is so ugly. But if we're just gonna look at this, is the reason that structure is more important than candlesticks is because candlesticks can be misleading. Okay, look at these wicks right here. Now there's equal size wicks on the opposite side. There's a massive wick on the downside, but also a massive wick on the upside. So then which direction has it? It's not effective to really try to look at just candlesticks. If you look at structure, we'll see that here's the floor, and then price is still respecting a higher floor. And then over here, price is still respecting a higher floor. We also have an inverted head and shoulders right here. This to me signals that we are going to have a push to the upside. But let's confirm a bit more. The market was going down bearish, and then we had two candles on the 4 hour, two 4 hour candles that engulfed the previous 20 or 25 candlesticks. That shows that there's buying momentum, there's a shift back in market direction, and buyers have taken back control over the market. So the signs of a reversal are when the market is getting choppy and choppy and choppy. So sellers are not as aggressive. They're starting to kind of pull back and buyers start stepping in. And then you see a massive shift in momentum, which shows buyers taking over control. And then last but not least, you got to have a higher low to establish the trend as being consistent. So bullish trend is higher highs and higher lows. So as long as we're establishing those higher floors, and then the next thing should be a break of this level, ideally. Ideally. Make sense? Okay, Bryce said, I got two markups. Let's see what you got. Oh, I like that a lot. Okay, so a full pullback all the way down to 37,360. Then what's the other one? Oh, so that would be,
It was, yeah, that's a bigger pullback if we get that bigger pullback, and the other one's off that next structure on the 1 hour. So if we pulled up really quick, I just sent it.
it's the same one, isn't it?
Oh, it's in the same one? Hold on, let me see.
Yeah, I think you did. Better. But I think I have an idea of what you're going for. You're either going to go for this or for this, right? Shallow retest of the floor or 88.6 retest.
There you go. Dude, I don't know why it's in the same one, bro. But yeah, it's that next floor that you were just looking at.
Bryce, I believe you, bro. I
Yeah.
believe
Yeah.
you.
Yep, it's that first floor, then the second floor. Yes, sir, you got it.
Beautiful. It's that
It's like
simple.
it's like you taught me or something. I don't know, it's weird.
It's like the strategy almost works.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
That's nuts. All right. Over here, God, that's so ugly. I actually like this one more to
Yeah.
forfeit.
Yep, that's the one that I'm trying to send. I don't know why it's not letting me do it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. My bad, guys. Let me calm down a little bit. Got that beautiful rejection, and we're already back above the 61. What happened to my trade? Did I get hit? There's no way. I put my stop loss way too tight. All right. Damn, that was stupid. I'm going very small now because now I have to reduce my lot size to be in this trade. Damn, man. For you guys that are Chart Addicts members, this is I'm not taking the trade at TP1 off the 30-minute. Like I'm still looking at the 4 hour. Okay, so the upside is very, very wide. The risk and reward still makes sense even at the 61, but now I just have to have a smaller lot size in as opposed to take it as opposed to taking advantage of it. Son of a bitch, dude. Okay. Well, I w never mind. All right, let's go through news real quick. I'll deal with that later. Yeah, Roy, but was so smooth with that FTMO cert. Well, I can post whatever the fuck I want on my personal story. I had that in my phone. It was something that I looked at regularly as a goal to try and hit. It should have stayed on my phone, obviously. Now I fucking know. But no one, it wasn't like an advertised thing. I took it down with 40 views. And because I called Bullseye a fake Molly salesman, he went and told Byrne that there was some malicious intent behind it and I was doing this, that, and the third. And then even when me and Burns shook hands and he understood because we had an explanation, these guys were still pumping and pumping this stuff because they were finally relevant for once. So what I would urge all those guys to do is provide some value to the community instead of trying to dick ride me. And I think that'll be a lot better for them. Just a side note. You said, yeah, it's shit. I mean, I get how it looks shady, but guys, I know my intentions. If you've been on these streams long enough, you know my intentions too. At no point in the past 4 years of us being public have we ever done anything except just be service oriented. Every single person here that's talked to me personally knows that I've only ever looked out for traders. These streams are fucking free. Like a lot of people are talking about this and that. Bro, it's fucking free. Sky Blue, if you don't like it, you can leave. It's that simple. Now, this is gonna have this is I will be honest about one thing is that I did like this past week just having time to myself and focusing on my own trading because that would have never fucking happened. And now I have to be on here for another 45 minutes sitting with this bad decision, which is cool because it's part of trading and you guys are literally seeing me trade live and so you get to see all the emotions, positive or negative, regardless of, you know, how embarrassing that might be. That was a pretty stupid mistake. Okay, let's talk about news. Three big news events. Number one, Ecuador is being taken over by the cartels. Cartel gang members went into one of the largest media organizations and took over the airwaves. They went to one of the largest universities and they went to a few police departments and a few prisons where they kidnapped prison guards, executed them alive, executed people alive on TV. The Ecuadorian military has now stepped in to try and alleviate the situation. So I want you guys to send out a prayer to Ecuador. And if anyone has family out there, call them up, check in on them, because that is probably one of the worst things to happen. Have you guys ever seen the movie The Purge? It's like one of the scariest things you can imagine. It's like total anarchy and total chaos. That's exactly what's happening in a lot of these countries around the world today. And so that's something I want you guys to keep on your radar because it is a pretty serious situation. Okay. I'm having a hard time. Might be dyslexic. Ah, damn it, dude. Okay. FTMO stopped accepting US clients. Why? So I spoke with some of the largest prop firm owners in the game today. And I reached out to them to see if this was an industry-wide thing that we should all be worried about with prop firms, or whether this was a very specific instance that only affects FTMO. What I've heard, and I heard two different stories. You guys can tell me which one sounds more believable to you. One is that FTMO is being proactive. They see a lot of other companies going under. They see the brokers getting kicked out of the states, getting kicked off MetaQuotes, and they're apparently FTMO is running their own brokerage or starting a separate brokerage. And so they don't want any oversight from the US. So they're being proactive and just getting out in time until they get their shit together. The other thing that I heard was that they are the biggest, and so they had the most amount of attention on them. With attention comes scrutiny, and with scrutiny comes, responsibility. And they had to make a responsible choice by protecting their business. We're all pissed because FTMO was the best that was out there. So what I'm doing right now is due diligence on the other firms to see which ones are having issues or not. There's a website called Trustpilot. I don't really trust Trustpilot because I know that it's also owned by a few of the guys that are, pretty big in the industry. And so I want to do as much diligence as I can, talking to real traders to find out which one of these firms we're going to next. Here's my options. Number one, if you're trading indices, futures might be something that we need to keep on our radar. Because if CFDs, which is what we're currently trading, if CFDs are not, we're not able to trade them on the offshore brokers, if FTMO is no longer available, and if other prop firms follow suit, we don't have a choice except to go with a futures broker, unless we want to break the law. The other option would be to, let me see, regulated brokers for Forex is very straightforward. Go to Oanda. You can go to forex.com. If you're in Australia, you can go to Black Bull or Pepperstone, etc. So depending on where you are in the world, regulated brokers are the way to go. Offshore brokers, they're still servicing everybody else in the world. Prop firms, if you live internationally, they're still servicing you. And for now, there has not been any other changes with any other prop firms besides FTMO. But from what I heard from these guys, like all of them told me the same shit at the very end, which is, yeah, this doesn't affect us. We're going to keep running and things are going to be good on our side. That's a little arrogant, if I'm going to be honest. If we're just going to look at the track record of brokerages being kicked out and then prop firms getting kicked out, does not really look too hot. But I'll get you guys more updates as I have more. Could be time to pivot to futures for sure. How true is that you need a lot of money to get into futures, like more than 10K? No, it's not that. So the thing about futures is it's still a leveraged product. You can still use margin, but the margin limits in America are 1 to 50. So whereas a CFD broker would give you 1 to 500 leverage. So you can have $1 in your account, but you can have the same purchasing power in the markets as if you had $500. If you have 1,000, then you can leverage as if you had 50,000. Or sorry, 500,000, my bad. The leverage is insane in the Forex space, in the CFDs specifically. So the only limit and the only difference is taxes, how futures are taxed versus CFDs. And then I think fees are also a little bit higher on futures, but market action is the exact same. Execution ideally will be the exact same. And the only difference will be the leverage. Okay. If you're using the swing account from FTMO anyways, you have 1 to 30 leverage. So it's really not the end of the world. Excuse me. Yeah. As an update, if you have an existing account or an existing challenge that you started this year, those should be unaffected. Now, I did talk to a few traders that when FTMO banned traders from Louisiana and 3 or 4 other states, they told this individual that their account would be unaffected. And so they kept running their account. And then 3 months later, FTMO took their account from them because they had stopped servicing clients from Louisiana. That's my biggest fear, is that if you have an account or you're doing a challenge, it's all like, we're good. As soon as they decide to take the accounts, now we need to start thinking of an exit plan. So I'm already working on my off ramp now, and I'm looking for a few other platforms to move on to. Why does it sound like a snowplow? There are prop firms for futures, but the thing is, like, if I'm going to use prop firms, I'll just go to a traditional prop firm. The whole point is I'm trying to go to somewhere that is regulated, and that's why futures brokers is where my attention is. If I'm going to go to another prop firm, I'll just go to a CFD prop firm, a Forex prop firm. There's way more money there too. I would be a lost pup without CA guidance in this shady industry. James, brother, I'm knee deep in this shit. I'm connected to almost everybody, and I'm still fucking confused every day. All right. I'm confused since the start of this year. Forex traders, alas, I got a close up look at why 98% of traders lose funded accounts or funded challenges. I saw a big piece of where people's attention is, where the focus is, and they just completely ignore the actual mess that's right in front of them. Right? Like there's so much shady shit happening in the industry. Everybody's just kind of like, right? God forbid somebody gets a new car. Now everybody's in the comments. So goes to show, man, just goes to show. Yeah, whoever took that 88.6 short who was talking in the chats, fucking brilliant. Fucking brilliant.
Yeah, it was beautiful on US30.
Yep. So NAS hit TP1 and 2 again. Pain. Real pain. I will secure partial profits on my trade from yesterday in case this thing reverses back down. This, I'm going to reduce the size and then just let it run. Nah, size is already good. So 0.2% almost. Risk. This one, I'm going to extend my TP because I don't like. Here's usually what happens if you're in a trade and you're just letting runners continue and you've set a hard TP, you're going to forget about the TP and then it's just going to keep running and running. And then one day the trade closes out and you're like, what happened? What happened? And then you realize that it hit that TP that you set because you just put it in a random place. So I've realized that with my lower entries, I'm extending my hard take profit. And to be honest, I don't even want to set a hard take profit. I do it because I want to establish a concrete risk and reward. You know, if you don't have a TP, then you don't really know your R&R. You just know where you're entering and what you're risking, but you don't know how much you're planning on making on the upside. So what I do now is I set a hard TP just so I can rationalize what I'm risking and what I'm making, but I don't intend the trade to hit TP. If you're trading in the direction of the trend, that means the next move should be a break of the high, correct? Like it should be a higher high. That's what a bullish market is. It's higher lows and higher highs. So if you're in a trade and it's getting up to a previous high, instead of closing it, just secure partials and just let the runner ride. If it does break through, perfect. You just caught the continuation of the trend. It's that simple. Okay, Real Roy coming back in your live after a while. I read about the whole payout thing, which apparent. John, I've already addressed that, brother. Just go back through the recording. And a matter of fact, why don't you just focus on making money on this stream and then we can have a conversation after. Sky Blue says, Roy, use a VPN and you're good. Well, here's what I'm going to do.
She was talking about FTMO. She's talking about FTMO.
But for using a VPN, yeah, it's illegal, brother. But either way, look, explanation or no explanation, here's what I want from all of you. Me, Q, Raul, nothing that anybody fucking does is going to make you money, besides obviously giving out free trade ideas. All right. You don't like people in the industry? Perfect. Make fucking money. That way you don't ever have to pay attention to anybody else but yourself ever again. Every single time that I see people, like we've been on the stream for about let's call it, it's not even it's been an hour almost. It's been an hour of value. We've covered 3 top news events. I've gone through technical analysis, basics and advanced. I've gone through 3 or 4 different pairs. We talked about currency correlations. We talked about FTMO banning folks, the Ecuadorian cartel. With all that information, we only had one question, right? That's like basically, I'm not going to use that word, right? I'm making a change in my life. I was going to use the R word, not going to do it anymore. But like, where the fuck is your attention? Okay, you guys don't like me. I want to remind everybody here, these streams are free. You literally got nothing to lose. But you have a lot to gain, like knowledge, like experience. And then obviously if you do your own analysis and you take any of these trades for yourself, then you'll see why you really want to show up to these streams. So for everybody else on this call, I don't give a fuck what happens next if, let's say, like one of these guys on YouTube, something happens and they actually get this big rumor and this whatever. The next one that comes up, put your fucking head back in the sand and focus on the business that pays you. Nobody else is going to pay your bills. People will be like, well, this individual made this much money and this individual made this much money. I'm going to learn from this guy versus this guy. Now, I want to ask you guys, if I make money in my account today, does that put any money in your pocket? No. If I'm on my personal trading account made 10% today, does that put any money in your pocket? The answer is no. If I buy a brand new supercar today and flex it all over social media, does that put any money in your pocket? The answer is no. What puts money in your pocket? These streams. You guys understand? So focus on where the value is and take as much notes, because I might have been joking about, making the live streams for private members only, but one day that will be a reality. And you either would have spent your time here on these live streams learning something valuable, or you would have just sitting there with your dick in your hand. But Daniel Savage said, first off, no, I'm not going to do it. Y'all see the growth? I stopped myself right on time. Imagine I stoop down to their level. Pigs want you to play in the mud with them. All right. I'm going to tell you guys I'm a fucking champion. Imagine I sit here and play in the mud with all of you after I've explained myself and after. And I'm talking about the trolls. I'm not talking about the people who are genuinely looking out for their best interest. Imagine I sit here and play in the fucking mud with the trolls. Brother, if one day look, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to win so much this year. It's going to make everybody sick to their stomach, except for those of you who are winning with me. And then I'm going to be absolutely fucking ruthless. And if I'm petty enough, I might just open up their closet and see what's in there. Because I'm willing to bet that every single person who made a post, and every single one, because I took notes, I'm petty like that. Every single one, if we just want to look in their closet, it's a few CFTC laws broken. It's a few financial laws that are currently being violated, a few scam brokers being promoted, a few lifetime signals that never got paid back. So, I mean, no, matter of fact, maybe you guys should look under the hood. See what you guys find. Please give us a good futures broker. I'm going to ask my good friend Darren Creedy Trades, because he's kind of like my go-to futures guy. And he's been using the same exact strategy on the futures broker. So I'm going to get his recommendation. And I also have some friends that run futures prop firms. So I'll talk to them and see what the deal is. Futures are regulated, so do the research on who has the best spreads in the US and the lowest commissions. Great stuff, Golly. Awesome stuff. First time viewer, but that's facts. If you keep on looking at other people's plates, you'll never eat off your own. Exactly. No, I mean, in a year from now, no, 6 months from now, there's going to be people that actually traded. There's going to be people that actually took action. There's going to be people that set goals and continued relentlessly towards those goals. And there's going to be people that were commentators. Right? This is the whole thing about the man in the arena. You're the man in the arena, and there's critics. This is an old Greek, or sorry, an old Roman kind of like philosophy. There's the critics, which is the professional commentator, right? Like Stephen A. Smith, perfect example. And then you have the man in the arena, right? So Stephen A. Smith can sit here as loud as he wants and say, LeBron James is not this and that, and LeBron James, and never step foot on a fucking court. Isn't that nuts? Now, who's going to be the legacy champion? Are people going to put up the jersey of Stephen A. Smith in the locker rooms? No. Are people going to be rocking a Stephen A. Smith jersey and wearing it around and, oh, babe, can you please get me the new Stephen A. Smith jersey? Not a fucking chance. When people think back about the greatest era of basketball, are people going to think about Stephen A. Smith? Maybe if you want to go into journalism or if you want to be a media personality, you'll be like, oh, Stephen A. Smith was the GOAT. To everybody else, the players are the ones who get all the recognition, the attention, the hype, the money, and everything that comes with it. The women, everything that comes with winning. So you can either be a commentator or you can go and put in work. And if you're putting in work, you don't have time to comment. And if you're commenting and saying that you're working, I don't fucking believe you. Okay? Because I work my ass off and I know that I don't have fucking time to sit here and worry about what others are doing, except for the Chart Addicts members, because that's my obligation and we're winning. All right? That's the reality. Roy got the burn book. Brother, I'm petty as fuck. I really thought about it. I really thought about, kind of blowing the lid off this thing. A bunch of people with broker and prop firm logos in their Twitter name trying to drag my name through the mud. And every day, God would tell me, Roy, you're better than this. Don't play in the mud with the pigs. Just stick to your championship mindset and stick to your obligations. My track record speaks for itself. And so it was tough, y'all. I really wanted to get out here, start wilding, but thank God for growth. Bianca said I jumped on just to hit the like button. Bianca, I appreciate you. Golly says Shannon Sharp over Stephen A. Smith. Let's start the debates. Said Roy on some smoke today? Nah, no smoke at all. But If people really want to keep playing with my name, brother, this is going to get very fucking ugly for them. I'll drag them to the deep end with me. I'll show them where their world ends. I'll show them where my world starts. And this is going to be that'll be a fun one. But then again, does that put any fucking money in my pocket? No. For them, it does. Because the more attention they get, they can push people to the fake offshore broker link in their bio. And so good media, bad media, doesn't really fucking matter for them because their broker link is still getting clicked. For me, if I don't provide a genuine service or a genuine value to you on this stream, nobody's going to fucking click and buy the course. If this trade isn't winning, and if I'm not getting on here every single day and just literally showing winning trades, no one's going to click the link. But for these guys, they kind of have a troll audience. And so the more attention, the more negativity, positive, whatever it might be, that's what drives their traffic. And it's fucking crazy to me. I wish I could do that shit. Let's just get on, say just about the most negative shit, literally provide zero value, and then just get people clicking a scam broker link in my bio and just running up my bag. I'm just sitting here at home just laughing. That's what these guys are doing. It's absolutely nuts. TP1, 2, and now 3 is about to get hit. What a crazy day, people. What a crazy, crazy day. Right? And you're right. I didn't actually call this trade. It was all fake. The trade was not called. The fucking YouTube recordings are available, man. Just go click on the YouTube videos, watch them. Be like, oh, he does trade. Oh, wait, every day? Wait, how are you calling the trades the same strategy the same fucking one? How is that even possible? You got to have a repeatable method, people. Repeatable method. NAS100 masterclass in the books. So we've already had the first test of TP1 or TP2, excuse me. Now we're going to see if we close above the range or not. So we have to close above that 727 in order for the market to have potential upside and to really break out in this session. Now, one more news event I wanted to talk about, which is the SEC Twitter account getting hacked. I also want to talk about, actually, there's 2 events technically, and then we have CPI news tomorrow. So in case you guys don't know, next week is the primary elections for Republicans. It's the first primary election, and it's going to be the Iowa caucus. This is going to be a huge turn of events because right now there's certain people polling higher than others, which is complete bullshit. And I think that Iowa is going to be the wake-up call for the entire country to realize who's really running, who's really leading the race, and who is likely to take the win. In my honest opinion, I think Trump got it. I'm going to be real. Just the way it is. His poll numbers are through the freaking roof, and he's about 60 points ahead of the next person. I would love to see Vivek and Gavin Newsom on stage debate. It's my personal little selfish thing. But this is going to have an impact on markets. If Vivek or Trump get elected, we're going to have a reduction in regulation, and I guarantee you FTMO comes back. If Newsom or Biden or Dean Phillips or whoever the fuck else they want to prop up, if they win, regulation in this country is going to get so much worse. Crypto companies will leave. Forex companies will leave. And I might be joining them. All right? So I know, all jokes. America's great. All right. So we're going to talk about CPI news. We have the elections next week, and then we have the Fed meeting on the 31st. So you guys know everything is revolving around the Fed's meeting, but we're going to have a few data points. We have GDP coming out. We got CPI coming out. And we're going to have consumer sentiment and retail sales coming out. So we'll have plenty of data to be able to make a decision and kind of, I don't say guess, but make let me just say the word prediction. We're going to make a prediction about what the Federal Reserve is likely to do in the next meeting. It's how we make money. We look at all the data. I put myself in Jerome Powell's shoes. I ask myself, what is Jerome Powell's main objective? Well, he says his main objective is to bring down inflation. And so if that's the case, and the CPI numbers are coming out great, that means that he's not going to get more aggressive, which is why the markets are flying. Now, markets are also get ahead of the news. And so you see that the markets are pumping up. The markets are betting on Jerome Powell taking it easy. That's what they're showing us. Same with Bitcoin. Let's talk about the Bitcoin ETF. This is a big news story for me personally because I've been in crypto since about 2014. I bought Bitcoin back when the only exchanges around were MT-Gox and some of these other early platforms. I've lost money on Kraken. I've lost money sending it to wrong wallet addresses. I was involved in, I wasn't involved. I got money stolen in the hack in 2016 at MT-Gox. I've been around for a long time and I've seen the development of the crypto space, and it really was my main focus before Forex trading. Going into next year, I see the bull run being, I would consider the last and final chance to get in before the market, like you're only ever going to get 2x or 3x returns from there. Here's what I mean. If we buy Bitcoin at 30 grand and it goes to 150, we make 5 times our money back. Okay? It's 5x. You put in 10K, you got 50K. Put in 1,000, you got 5,000. So that's a pretty decent expected return. If I wait until the price is at 200 grand, how high is it really going to go? It might go from 200 to 400, but I'm only going to double my money. I'll say only double my money, right? As if it's not like a big deal. But 5x returns this is going to be the last halving. This is going to be the last opportunity before price, I think, balloons to the next level. My expectations for Bitcoin personally, please do your own research. It's not financial advice. This is for educational purposes only, is I'm looking at a bullish Q1. Obviously, the news yesterday might have put a pin in that. We're going to have the halving, which is the total supply of Bitcoins being mined is going to get cut in half. So instead of 6 Bitcoins for every block that is mined, we're only going to get 3 Bitcoins for every block that is mined. So the miners are either going to accept half their money, just getting cut, or they're going to start to spend twice as much on mining computers and electricity they're going to pump out twice as much electricity to get the same amount of Bitcoins they were doing before. Either way, the price of Bitcoin will go up. Either way, the halving is going to have a major impact. But here's typically the breakdown of the halving. It happens. Everyone is expecting it to go bullish. It doesn't. It has a dip, and then it goes sideways. 140 days average. 140 days average after the halving. And the halving this year is April 22nd. 140 days is when the bull run really starts to pick up. So that puts us at about November, right in time for the FX Summit. So I have a bullish Q1, bearish or sideways Q2 as the halving kind of plays itself into the markets. And then by Q4, we're back bullish. And 2025, 1 year after each halving, the first halving, we had a 95x return. Okay, that was in 2012. The 2016 halving, we had a 45x return. 1 year after the halving, if you had put in $1,000 and waited a year, you would have made $43,000. The first year, 2012, you put in $1,000, you waited 1 year, you would have made $95,000. Now let's go to the most recent one, which was in 2020. The 2020 halving was, I believe, a 17x return. So you put $1,000 in, you get 17,000 out. That was 1 year after. Each 4-year cycle, the returns are getting slashed in half or by 60%. So if we kind of do that same math, we're expecting anywhere between 5 to 8x returns 1 year after this halving. So April 2025, expecting price to be at 150 to 200 grand. Make sense? This is just based on the previous 12 years of record. That's what we got. All right. What else we got here? Oh, yeah. So the biggest news in crypto was an ETF, which is an exchange traded fund. It's a traditional investment. It's a traditional asset that retail investors typically have in their portfolio. Typically, people will buy stock market ETFs. So if you wanted to invest in Nasdaq, not just trade it and day trade it, if you wanted to invest in Nasdaq, I'm also extending my take profit here, folks, because my overall take profit is still the 17,000 area. And so I'm just going to give a visual for the folks who are hopping on a bit late. You can buy stock market ETFs and put them in your traditional portfolio. But there hasn't really been a lot of Bitcoin ETFs. The only fund or index that you can buy as of like a month ago was, I think, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, GBTC. So GBTC is very similar to, let's say, the gold index. So GLD is an index that tracks the value of gold. And so if you don't want to own the commodity straight up and take on commodity risk or take on, the holding costs or whatever you want to do, you can still get access to the upside by buying this ETF. With Bitcoin, and I'm gonna say this even though I'm supposed to really just be as selfish as possible here with Bitcoin specifically, there is only 21 million Bitcoins that will ever exist, and 18.5 million of them are already in circulation. There's more millionaires in America than there are Bitcoin in circulation. So if you're looking at buying the asset itself, you want to own the Bitcoin. If you have it on Coinbase, for example, Coinbase owns your Bitcoin. There's a concept called custody. When you self-custody, you can put it on one of the hard wallets, which is like a physical device, like a thumb drive that has all the information on it that proves that this is your money and that the coins are yours. You can put it on an offline wallet like Exodus or one of the others. But if you give it to an exchange or a wallet, an intermediary, and you give them custody of your assets, they are now the owner of the Bitcoin. If the exchange goes under, so does your money. Now, why is that important? You want to own one of the 21 millions. If it goes up to 150 grand and you're holding half of one, a quarter of one, 0.10 of one, you're going to be sitting pretty good. And I think that institutions have this plan now to pump Bitcoin so far out of reach for retail investors that the only way to get access to it is you can either buy fractional, like little fractional shares, or you're going to have to buy this ETF. You can buy a share of this ETF because, like, what are you going to do? Buy a $200,000 Bitcoin? Just buy my ETF. And that's going to be JP Morgan's pitch and Goldman Sachs's pitch and BlackRock's pitch as they all try to compete. Why am I so bullish on Bitcoin going into 2025? Is let's look at the ETF market. There's going to be so much money made in that market that almost every major institution wants to compete. So you have the top 10 banks competing over a limited supply of Bitcoins, and they have an unlimited amount of money. Now, some of you guys might be wondering, if BlackRock has $1 trillion, why haven't they just bought all the Bitcoin? Like, why? Because who's going to sell it to them? Guys, you have to understand trading involves two parties. And these electronically controlled networks that we trade on, or these self-dealing exchanges that will literally trade against you just to create that flow, they're like, that's not the most accurate way to understand trading. An accurate way to understand trading is that if you had $1 billion today and you want to buy $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, you couldn't do it. You'd have to go to a private seller only because the exchanges would not be able to find enough selling orders, enough people that want to sell their Bitcoin to fill your order at one time. So that's, I think, the issue the institutions are having is that the majority of holders for Bitcoin or the majority of owners of Bitcoin are holders and not traders. And so in order for BlackRock to acquire as much as they can, they're going to have to buy it from you. And so how do they do that? They can keep pumping the price up until retail is like, oh my God, that's so much, take it. And then BlackRock will buy it at under 100 grand because they know it's going to be a $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 asset. Make sense? So now what happened with the decision yesterday? Let's talk about this news. So yesterday was supposed to be the decision for the Bitcoin ETF approval. Bitcoin's been pumping for the last 2 months in anticipation of this ETF being approved. The SEC puts up a tweet. Let me see if I can actually pull this up here. I'll go to Instagram, Chart Addicts. We did post this up on IG as soon as it happened. Okay. So here's the original tweet. And you guys can see how it got the market hyped because it came from the actual account for the Securities and Exchange Commission. And how they got hacked, I have no clue. And did they get hacked? We need Elon to let us know because something about this does not add up. There was a massive rumor that institutions were bidding up the price of Bitcoin. As soon as the news drops, they were going to crash it. But this was the biggest surprise that nobody had on their radar. They said today the SEC grants approval for Bitcoin ETFs for listing on all registered national exchanges. Not only did they tweet this, they put up the Bitcoin emoji, which got all Bitcoin users just kind of hyped up. So a ton of people started to go on exchanges and buy Bitcoin. They said they approved Bitcoin ETFs will be subject to ongoing surveillance and compliance measures to ensure continued investor protection. Sounds like something the SEC would say. Okay, then they put out this tweet right after. The SEC, and the other tweet is now nowhere to be found. The SEC Gov X account was compromised in an unauthorized post was posted. The SEC has not approved the listings, and trading of spot Bitcoin exchange traded products. So they got hacked. It was a fake tweet, and they have not approved the Bitcoin ETF. Gary Gensler, head of the SEC, gets out and says the same exact thing. He says the Twitter was compromised, an unauthorized tweet was posted. SEC has not approved the listing and trading of spot Bitcoin exchange traded products. This was the first post I saw, like in the tweet, the original tweet with the emoji. They had a picture of Gary Gensler with a freaking quote. Today's approval enhances market transparency and provides investors an efficient access to digital assets within a regulated framework, and people lost their minds and started buying it up. So naturally, what happened? Market pumps. They put out the tweet that it was false, and then you see a massive crash under. Price was sitting at about 47,500 before, and then today I believe it's back at 45,000 flat. So from 48,000 to 45,000 in a day, just off of this mistake. And it looks like a lot of folks are starting to lose some hope that the ETF will get approved. Personally, I still think the ETF gets approved. It's just going to take a little bit longer, and I think there's some coordinated effort here between the SEC and the big banks to make sure the big banks come out on top. Okay, so that's what's happening. Bitcoin 2025 will be huge, and I'm just looking forward to it. Let's do gold real quick. So gold, major year for gold. This was a perfect trade. We marked this off, I think, going into New Year's. Retest of the 2060 zone, came all the way down, hit the previous low, hit the negative 27 extension, and now kind of looks like it wants to continue down to 2008, which is my final target for gold in this cycle. Okay, and it might go lower, but we'll see. Japanese yen is crashing out the sky, so UJ trades are probably doing great. Where's UJ? There she is. Yeah, UJ is pumping right now. Good stuff. So you have currency correlation, you have the DXY basically sitting flat. So this is not why UJ is moving. UJ is not moving because the dollar is moving. A lot of people will be like, oh my God, UJ is going up. Let me go short GU, or let me go short Euro USD. Not how that works. Understand which currency is driving the volume. Right now, we can clearly see that the yen is having the most amount of volume, and it's just going down, which means that USD JPY, because it has a JPY at the end of it, is going up. So if you go to Euro USD, you're having an even more aggressive push because you have the euro dropping at the same time as you have you have the euro going up at the same time as you have the Japanese yen crashing. Okay. This is a trade on Euro USD that we called before the end of last year. We had the 1.11 entry. If you guys can see where this entry was, this is 1.11 that I kept telling folks, or sorry, 111. This is the entry I kept telling folks. So now what's going to happen here is that we're sitting at this resistance level here on the daily. I'm going to draw a fib from the top to the bottom of this recent impulse. Find the 78% retracement level. Wait for about a 70, let's call it an 80% retest of this previous impulse. So we had a rejection off the daily zone, pull back 80%, and then a potential continuation. Trading from down here, very risky. You can see your risk and reward goes out the window if you're chasing and trying to enter down here. So I'd highly recommend waiting for that double top, and that's how we can get a pretty good re-entry opportunity. Okay? Awesome stuff. David Sanchez says, TP hit. Thank you, Roy. David, you know we making money, baby. I love to see it. Love to see it. Love to see it. Awesome stuff. Felix says 150,000 IDR. I don't know how much money that is. Well, guys, what's IDR? I feel like an idiot being a currency trader. You do IDR currency. Indonesian rupiah. So it's an Indonesian rupee. Dude, I appreciate you. Thank you for that, for the super chats. And just goes to show we got that international crowd. If you hit TP, put something in the chats. If you took this trade, put something in the chats and let me see. Let me see some hands go up. Let me see some hands go up. Who took this trade? Where was your entry? Did you make profits? What percent are you up? Let's just see the feedback here real quick. And whoa, stops are going in break even on the re-entry here. Floating about 300 on this one, 450 on this one. And this is why we leave a runner. 1.5 lots still running, 320 bucks. Not bad. Not bad. 0.3. Okay. Man, I need to work on holding runners. You don't, I mean, brother, you're trading in bed, bro. How are you supposed to hold? Holding and closing and making trading decisions, it's more physical than it is mental. And I'll tell you guys exactly why. It doesn't take a lot of thinking to click the button and get in. If you overthink, you're probably going to talk yourself out of the trade. The thinking happens in the analysis. The action happens when you go to take the trade. So when you're trading, if you're not in the best physical place, like if you're not up, alert, awake, your body's ready to go, you're going to be holding the trade and you're just going to be like, but what if, and I don't know, and that. You haven't really set your central nervous system, your brain, your focus towards your intention. Your intention is, I'm going to hold trades. It's going to happen. If you're sitting here halfway in bed, you're like, I'm going to hold trades today. You're up a couple points, you close it, you take profits, then you're like, damn, I should have held it, should have done this. Crucial. 16,660 was Stephen Barry's entry. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I'm assuming you got it on a different platform here. 16,660. Wow, bro. Wow, wow, wow. That's right here at the body. Right here at the body. That's so good. It's a tear going down my eye if you can't see it. I'm in at 681. Noah, good stuff. Good stuff. Me and you got a similar entry. No, you got a better entry than me on the second one. I really did have what I would consider a perfect entry at the beginning, and I was just a little bit too, I don't know. I was moving a little bit too fast. I was going through news. I was doing this. Got to slow it down, put the stop loss exactly where it needs to be, and make sure that we're allowing the trades to play out fully. If the haters are watching this, I hope you guys made money. Because then you wouldn't have any time to hate. You would actually love your life instead of being miserable, being on my nutsack. All right, everybody. Give me one big takeaway from today's stream. We talked about some news events. We talked about what's happening in Ecuador. Horrible. Send some prayers up. We talked about FTMO. I'll have more updates for you as I have more updates. The SEC Twitter account got hacked. We're all still waiting on the Bitcoin approval. But keep in mind that by 2025, we will have broken the new highs and we will have at least had a massive run-up from this year. So make sure that you guys are keeping crypto on your radar. Do your own research. This is for educational purposes only. And then I highly recommend that all of you go to our website. If you're interested in learning the strategy for yourself, you guys don't like me, you find me obnoxious, you want to learn this thing for yourself so that your family's future is not in the hands of a person like me, what I would do is sign up for the masterclass, take it for yourself, learn the strategy. I'm just going to give it to you, and whatever you decide to do with it is on you. I recommend that you guys come back to these streams and then see the strategy being demonstrated, and then you simulate the strategy for yourself on your own account. And if you do that, 2024 is yours. You're going to start the year with a strategy that you know works, that you have confidence in, and then you can just stay consistent for the next 6 to 8 months until you have those results. Next thing is, so if you're on the website, that'll be under live classes. The market outlook for 2024 is posted under the analysis tab. And if you can't find it under all posts, go to fundamentals. It'll be right here. I identify the major themes that will impact markets this year, specifically NAS100. That's Fed policy. That's geopolitical risks, tons of wars, domestic factors like the election, like consumer spending, and like macroeconomic factors. The key data to watch this year, right? So we got GDP, unemployment, CPI, retail sales, housing market. We talked about the economic recovery and the soft landing, the few scenarios, as well as the key data to watch. I go through the political landscape in the US and what we can expect, typically just based on historical, just based on it's not historical context. It's historical precedence. Like whatever happened before. So if there was an incumbent president that inherited a decent market condition, typically, or that has a decent market condition, typically they win. So if Trump in his last year, if the economy was not crushed by COVID, there's a very good chance that he would have won, just statistically speaking, because an incumbent president has a very, very high chance of winning, especially if the economy is in good standing. We have media misinformation. This is going to be huge. We've already seen aliens in Miami. There's no fucking aliens in Miami. Where did that even come from? All right. They're throwing out certain things about the Epstein case, and then they're starting to throw out certain things and just confusing folks without a clear, cohesive understanding of the situation. That's going to be the case for the rest of the year. So keep an eye out for that. Polarization. Everybody wants to pick a side. All right. This is your reminder. You ain't got to fucking pick a side on every fucking topic. You don't have to. You don't know enough about a thing, say, wow, that's horrible, that's fucked up. Done changed my life. Polarization is going to be what drives this country apart, or the lack of polarization and kind of more unity is going to be what brings this country back together. We'll see which one happens in 2024. We all know, none of us are hopeful about that, but this country is, people are people. Okay, we all know people who are just ignorant. But okay, so here's a dangerous combo, because if you're ignorant, but confident and ignorant and emotionally charged. That's about the worst thing that you can be. That's about the scariest thing that we can possibly imagine. Emerging candidates, big winners going into this year. I do see Robert Kennedy Jr. having a lot of success, and I do see Vivek having a ton of success this year. I don't see RFK being able to win on the ballot. You guys remember what the Democratic National Convention did to Bernie Sanders when they just straight robbed him of his election, and then he straight gave it to Clinton, and she fucking lost the election. It's like, how the fuck are you gonna steal it from Bernie, who had a pretty good chance of beating Trump? Give it to the person who just fucking got swept. That's craziness. And so there's going to be a lot of that where I think they're trying to do the same with RFK. They're not trying to include him in any of the festivities, right? All the reindeer games. He doesn't get to play the reindeer games. And so he's just out here on his own, fucking doing 50 push-ups to start the day, eating raw meat and shit on fucking Twitter. I like RFK. I think he's a great value to our society. I think he says a lot of important things. Do I think he's going to win? No fucking chance. But we got to support the people that are really providing a service and a value. Global political dynamics. So you want to look at divergence from the Fed, other central banks having opposing central bank policies, ultra loose monetary policy. We're going to talk about the Bank of Japan. Geopolitical instability. We've seen all the wars going around. China could take Taiwan this year before it's too late. Because if Trump comes into office, they are never seeing Taiwan again. Trump's going to put the U.S. Navy right, just blockade Taiwan and say, try something. And so I think that they're going to use the next 8 months as an opportunity to make some progress in terms of taking back Taiwan. Okay. Geopolitical, we got Ukraine, we got the Middle East, we have China, Taiwan. Okay. The possible outcomes are cooperation, decoupling, conflict. And here's the two words that you guys got to learn going into this year, because you're going to see these everywhere. And I want to just be able to say that I told you so. First off, am I supposed to be in a meeting? No, we're good. Luke, I got a call with you tonight. Let's go. Let's go, Luke. Okay. Yeah, so the two words you got to learn in terms of geopolitical stuff is containment or escalation. Escalation means more countries get involved. And in case you guys don't know a thing about history, World War I started because some Archduke, Franz Ferdinand, got shot by some random fucking bum, by some bum. Some bum started World War I. And nobody in the world knew it was World War I. They just started to jump in and support their boys a little bit. Nah, don't touch my mans. I got his back. Now they're jumping in. And then America had to come in, kind of save the day. People don't like to admit that. And so this is the way that world wars start, is going to be a small conflict that escalates. And so containment, anybody who's studied geopolitical or just geopolitical dynamics, any of the guys who are working in the State Department, everybody in the world, even Hezbollah, even some of these groups, they know that they don't want escalation because they know where that leads. They know it's World War III. And so containment is the word of 2024. It's containment or escalation, and I'm praying it's containment. Because if we can keep these issues within their borders, then we can stop a greater global effect. Cool. All right. And Jaden Flores says, thanks for the knowledge with a $5. I appreciate you, Jaden. Thank you, brother. I appreciate all the super chats today, man. You guys are lit. David Sanchez said 34,000 pesos made on this trade, right? David, you made 34,000 pesos? What does that even add up to? We do pesos to USD. That's $2,000. Good for you, David. Fuck yeah. Awesome stuff. I did $100 away from passing my funded. There we go, Yuri. Yes, sir. We're back in business. C4. C4. I know who C4 is. C4. Yeah, I know you. We met in Atlanta. We met at the ATL Expo, legendary ATL Expo. You're talking about the one that we had at the at that venue where we did the free workshop. But it was like 200 people in there. People were piled up on top of each other. Remember we got kicked out? Do you think the likelihood of a civil war in the US is probable with this upcoming election? No, fuck no. Guys, fuck no. There's not going to be a civil war. First off, half this country is fucking bunch of pansies. So it wouldn't really be a war. It'd be like bullying almost. All right. So no, there's not going to be. Imagine the North and the South wanted to go to war today. Who y'all think is winning that one? It ain't a fucking question. Ain't a question about it. All right. Let's just be 100% with each other here. Now on the other side, this is really fucked up, but I'm going to give you guys some inside baseball here. If you were a government, okay, and your people were about to get into civil war because you've been dividing, right? Because you're so confident that the country won't break that you're like, I'm just going to divide people to keep them busy. Then you're like, oh shit, it's actually breaking. They're going to come for me. They're going to have my head on a stake because that's what happens in anarchy times. What would you do? Would you create an imaginary enemy somewhere outside the country to unify the whole country against the common cause? Let's think about something. This is a completely tinfoil hat, just an opinion. Don't show up to my fucking door. Say this. Netanyahu's approval rating in Israel was about 20%. The entire country was tired of him. His ultra-conservative government was unpopular, and there was people protesting in the streets. They were going to oust him, and then they were going to give the Supreme Court more powers to be able to deny certain actions and to be able to hold the president and the prime minister accountable. Fuck. All right, this is a conspiracy 100%. All right? And I would never kill myself. If you were about to lose your seat in the middle of one of the most important shifts in history, where the Saudi and Israel peace deal is about to get started, where the whole country is going to have a massive enrichment, and you could be the reason for that enrichment. If there was a threat that was incoming, and you knew the size of the threat wouldn't be that big, would you allow it to happen to get your whole country to be on the same page to go attack a specific enemy? And that's how you unite a country? It's happened in the past. Okay. Everybody in the country was down to go fucking kill Saddam. They're like, oh, 9/11 happened. Weapons of mass, I don't know, weapons of mass, fuck them. Everybody can get it. And so the unifying factor is a common enemy. And can we create a common enemy? Sure. 100%. They'll make one up if we don't have one. I can just guarantee you guys that. So no, I don't see a civil war at all. That was some insider baseball. Do you think the likelihood of a civil war? Okay, what about North and South Korea? That I don't see a lot of escalation unless China uses an opportunity to take over. If China goes for Taiwan and there is zero repercussions from the US, North Korea will try to take over South Korea unsuccessfully, right? Because South Korea has way too many global allies, and there's supply chains do run deep in Korea. And so we have a lot of vested interest in protecting South Korea, and I think that it'll be a bad fucking day for North Korea if they want to go down that route. Okay. Yes, where the lady was causing a scene, I remember. Brother, remember the cops got called? Remember they called the cops on us because we had too many people at the event? Yo, just as a reminder, we did a free world tour, and we're going to do another one starting in March. We did a free world tour, and we had hundreds of people packed out in every city around the country. New York City, Atlanta, Washington, D.C., Scottsdale, Arizona, Dallas, Texas. You guys came to Miami if you guys were at the FX Summit. It was nuts. ATL was the only city we got the cops called on us because we had so many people. There's people waiting outside the door. We had reached capacity. Now, instead of it's raining and outside, people drove 2 hours. Instead of letting them wait inside, which is what I did, I opened the door, let everybody wait inside, not in the hall to watch us, but just in like a waiting area, just so they're not in the rain. She called the cops because we were over capacity, and I told her that it's raining outside. And so then this whole scene erupted. The cops came. They were looking at her like, "What do you want us to do?" And it was in the contract that they're not in the hall, which is where the capacity was. They were technically within the fire marshal's limits in that little main area. Big scene erupted. You know what I'm saying? She was throwing epithets at me, right? I was dodging them because I know myself and I know my own character, and I was not going to be slandered. And yeah, that was one of the most fun events I think we've ever done. Yes, sir. That's a 2 month salary right here. We appreciate your time and sharing knowledge. David, congratulations, brother. Great trade today. From negative $14 to $80. Thanks, King. Victor, how the fuck are you trading with negative $14, brother? The Chart Addicts core members, you guys know me. Well, maybe not some of you guys, but if you guys were trading with me before like 2019, you've seen me do shit like that all the time. I'd have a Hugo's Way account with negative $120 balance floating $400-500 on a trade because the equity was keeping the account alive, closing out some partials. But then sometimes I would have a micro on US 30 running $240 and I'm in negative $27. I can't take partials. I got a choice, close the whole thing or hold it and actually make $1,000. And that used to be my life for like a whole year in 2018 and going into 2019. That was stressful. You guys want to talk about trading being stressful? That was stressful. I never want to go back to that again. Do you think the funded trader is going to make the same move as FTMO? Well, I spoke to, actually, I'm not going to, to respect their privacy, I'm not going to talk about the three prop firms I spoke to, but they are on the top 5 list. You can just eliminate FTMO and you got the other fucking 4 names. They told me this is only FTMO's problem, but also they probably wouldn't tell me the truth and then have me go out and tell the truth. And then everybody starts to panic and then move their money off the platforms or request a bunch of refunds or all this stuff. So I think that, and this is why FTMO didn't make the official announcement too, because they didn't want to panic people and then get everyone to move from their platform to somebody else's, because they're going to lose their international audience too. And so I'm still doing my research on the other firms to see how many issues they've had, how many payouts pending do they still have. The biggest thing I'm seeing with prop firms is people who got their accounts taken for zero reason, even though they did not violate the rules. They're refusing them a payout because obviously it would have just cost the firm too much money. And the more of those that they have, I ain't ever going to that platform. So that's where I'm doing my research now. I should have an answer by the weekend, but this is not a decision I take lightly. Which platform I trade on is something I take very serious because I never want to have to rethink or second guess myself. So allow me a few days. I'll have a solid answer for y'all, and that's what it is. Mohammed says, what about North and South Korea? Yes, sir. Shan said I had 2 entries. I took TP on my earlier entry. Let's go. Me and you both. I'm in break even with a runner running on my second entry. Awesome stuff, man. Awesome stuff. Roman said solid 1%, 1668 on FTMO, solid 1% day off to work, or a solid 1% day off to work, solid day. I finally held a trade. Roman, that's what the fuck I'm talking about. It's one day. You tell yourself, I'm going to start holding trades. You have a choice today, and you made the right choice, and that's going to start that snowball to the better decisions that you're going to make. Good stuff, Roman. I'm proud of you. He said Victor owed the brokers money. Brother, Victor was going to get a knock on the door. My credit was 25. So I'm assuming that's your equity was 25 or what? Chances are they said that for damage control and PR. Futures might just be the move as much as I love FX. I mean, we can trade FX futures too. So you can trade FX futures or you can trade spot Forex on a regulated broker. So when it comes to Euro USD and USD JPY and currency crosses, you still have a chance. Folks, I'm taking partial profits again on my second entry here. I'll let that run a ride, and then I'm going to take a little bit off the table here. Another 160 bagged up. And I'm going to hold the runners. Okay. Bada boom, bada bing. Let me see what we got. It says W. Roy. Hey, yeah. It says come back to Dallas. Yo, I'm gonna be real. We hired a what is it called? A travel agent kind of situation going into this year. And so hopefully we're gonna be locked in right on point. And if we can swing a few more cities, we definitely will. But I just don't see myself going back to Dallas. Or they put us in a weird ass location in Dallas. They put us in a weird location. It was one of these neighborhoods, a little sus. Pause. It was a pause ass neighborhood. And I just straight up told the guy, I'm never coming back to Dallas. Say with Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? None of the, no shade, but I look like this. I can't be walking around those kinds of neighborhoods, y'all. Fucking you fucking crazy. Okay. Y'all, I'm done. Money was made, news was announced. Now it's time to go and focus on work for the day. Take it easy. Don't spend time on the charts that you like. If you have not planned a trade and you're waiting for something specific, staring and hoping for the next thing or the next candle is not going to help you out. So make sure that you guys are making good choices with your trading. If there's no plan that you have already in place, don't just get back on the charts and hope that you just magically make something happen. You might, but that's gambling. But you also might not. And that's for real. Okay. Crush it this year. 2024 is your year. Focus on yourself. Focus on what you have to do to make progress. What did you learn from today's stream? And don't rely on other people to really hold your hand through it. Because what if I do stop streaming? Y'all better be able to make money for life if you understand how markets work and if you have a day trading strategy that's this effective. Okay. Take it easy, y'all. I'm going to catch you on socials and keep crushing it. Peace. Okay. Another live stream down. Trade taken.